Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this block we are working on is our Eleanor Burns Sampler quilt, and for November we are making the Missouri Star, which I've never made a star quite like that. What that really reminds me of is like the Lone Star, where it's got the several different colors out on the points of the block. But I don't know, we're gonna make it. And now I know if you're new to this channel and you haven't been following along, some of the methods you're gonna see me doing to make half square triangles and such are a little different. I'm following the book and the way that she suggests doing everything. I said from the start I wanted to do all the directions just the way that she had them in the book, and so that's what we're doing. And yeah, I know there's gonna be easier ways and what have you, but we're going by the book. So anyway, you will need, let's see here, a light, a dark, and then two mediums. I actually only used one medium, but the center square for the very center of our star, where it's that reddish color there, you could fussy cut something, or if you had something you wanted to kind of showcase, that's what I did. So we're going to need of our first medium, which is going to be for the outer star points, and the dark, we're going to need a 4.5 by 9 rectangle of each. We're going to need 1 7 1/4 square of your background, and you're going to cut it on both diagonals to get 4 triangles. 3 3.5 squares of your background. 2 4-inch squares of the dark, and then cut it on the diagonal once to get 4 triangles. Actually, I think you need 4. Sorry. She's got 2 in here, but it's actually 4. And then 1 4 3/4 square of your second medium, or the fussy cut medium, for the center of the star. So let's get started. I'll set that over there. So the first thing we're going to do is make the half square triangles with our big rectangles. Here's my dark. Here's my medium. I don't know. I just pulled them out of my scrap bucket, but anyhow. So you're going to put them right sides together, and I already did this, but we're going to draw lines. So you're going to find the middle and draw a center line, which will be, this is 9 inches long, so it'd be 4.5, and then go from the corner of that center line down to the corner, and we're going to sew on both sides of this line and both sides of the other line. Do not sew the center line, because that's just a cut line. So let me see if I can bend you down here where you can see. Hopefully my phone will not fall over. All right, so I'm going to line these up, and if you need to pin this because it is pretty big, you know, pin it. I was just saying in the other video for the all seasons that I did, I've been doing a lot more pinning than I normally do. For some reason, this is always backwards to me, so I struggle getting this sewn. But yeah, we're gonna, here we go. I don't know why, it just is weird for me, but I've been doing it, you know, all along. So, and I'm just gonna sew right off, and I'm gonna cut the thread and then come back on this side. That's what I have found is easier. If I try to pivot, usually I'm not right at the 1/4 inch mark, and it's a whole thing. Alright, and then I'm going to go back down this other side and sew on both sides here. She says a 1/4 inch away. What I have found with her pattern is she really means a scant 1/4 inch. I've had to redo a few pieces because my seam was a little too big, but yeah. You can always trim it down. You cannot add to it. So that's my theory. Okay, so I've got it sewn on both sides of the lines, the diagonal lines there. All right, let's go over to the cutting board. I'm going to pull my little handy dandy board up here, and we're going to cut this apart. So I'm going to cut on this center line that we drew first. That's the halfway line, and then we'll just cut these apart like so. Whoop, there's one of my birds, sorry. She's being a little noisy today. I think it's going to rain or something. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. All right, so I got those cut apart. Okay, so then we're going to press these to the darker fabric. Now, she's got a really weird measurement that we're going to trim these to, like 3 7/8. I hate when patterns do that, because I am, you know, I'm okay with like 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, but the 7/8 and 1/8 and all that, I have to count on my ruler, and it's embarrassing. You know, I used to be good at math and fractions and all that stuff. I am not so much anymore, so. All All right, so let's see if we can get these squared. Okay, so since I have a block ruler, but it does not have the 1/8 marks on it, I don't think. Let me look. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I guess I could do it on that. Okay. I don't know which one's going to be easier. Probably this one. So whatever ruler and way to square is going to be easiest for you. It's what you need to do. So 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I'm going to have to cut a lot. Okay. So I got my diagonal line on there. All right, and 3 7/8 is going to be 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be the last. Okay, I got it. It's going to be the last little line before your next inch mark. All right. Like I said, I'm so terrible with that, and I don't know why. All right, so let me see what. Oh, I'm doing 4. Yeah, see, I'm already having difficulties. 1. Okay, so this is a 1/2 inch. I need to go this direction. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. There's 7/8 there. 1. Well, this ruler's got the 1/2 inch on it, and it's going to really mess me up. Let me try the block tack. And I'm leaving this in here. You guys can watch me struggle because it's hard. So there's 4. This is so much easier. Okay, here's my 3 7/8, 3 7/8. I'm going to count 1. Let's see here. We go 1, 2, and 3 7/8. Okay. And this is a 1/2 inch here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 7/8. Okay, here we go. I got it. Whoa. Wow. That is just way more difficult than it should be. I'm just going to cut my little dog ear off here and we'll have that squared up. I'll do one more. Yeah, that I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why it is so difficult for me. Okay, there's 3 7/8, 3 7/8. So 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay. Measure twice, cut once. That's what they say. So I've got that one. Okay, so now I've got it. So the block ruler, because it has whole inches on it on both sides, is much easier than this ruler with all the marks on it. Go figure. Anyhow, let me get the rest of these squared up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut across the seam. So your seam is going this way. We're going to cut diagonal once across the seam. So we're just going to go just like this. Oops, that would be helpful to open that. Oops. Okay, so then you will end up with 2 triangles that look like this. Excuse me. But they are going to be different if you put them, you know, next to each other. One side, the dark is on this side, one, the dark is on that side. So you need to keep those in a pile so you know, because that's going to be important when we go to put the star together. In order for it to come out right, you're going to have to make sure those are on the correct sides. Okay, so I'm just going to slice them in half and put them in a little pile there. They will be different. Just make sure you're on your point. You're right on the corner, not over it. Because like I said, these are already trimmed down, and so, you know, the measurements are going to be important. Okay, so we'll get all those trimmed and stacked up. Okay, now she says in the book to lay all these in stacks of 4 with each other so that you know where do they go. So you've got your light triangles, 4 of those here. We got the one stack with the print toward the bottom, this other stack of the half square triangles that we cut in half with the print toward the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to leave this on my sewing machine. So we're going to take one side and flip it over onto a triangle. And we're going to line the bottom edge up with that with the triangle. So you're going to have a little overhang on the top here. Don't worry about that. Just line that up. Now, these are both extremely stretchy. So when you're sewing these, just let your feed dogs pull it through. Don't get in a hurry. You can go a little bit slower. You can pin this if you want to pin it. But trust me from experience, it will take just a half of a second for these to get wonky. So work carefully. You could starch the fabric if you wanted to, just to make sure that, you know, that helped keep it from stretching. And then I'm just going to open it, press it with my fingers just a little bit. Okay, and so you'll have that. So it is going to hang over a little up here, but you want this bottom edge to meet. So once you get the one side on, then you can come back over here and do this other side. And I would go ahead and chain piece these and then come back in and yeah, chain piece them, and and then come back and put the other side on. Sorry, I was paying attention to where I was. So I'm just gonna gingerly let this roll through here, make sure it stays lined up. Once it's sewn on, I'm not as concerned about it, but until you get it sewn on, and if they get wonky on you, you're just gonna have a wonky block. So this is what we're looking for. We're gonna need 4 of these right here. So you could take this. Now when you press this, I would just press. I would not rub an iron, just strictly press. So I will do one more with you, and then I'll finish the other 2 off camera. So we're gonna flip that one over. We're gonna line the bottom. We want the dark to match, line up with the triangle bottom. And we're just going to let it go through. Like I said, tugging and pulling at this point is not going to be good. Alright, and I'm just going to open this up and just, with my fingers, just press down. Just to keep it open so that I can add this other side. I have to turn this around because I can't sew upside down. I don't know who, I think it was Donna Jordan. I watched one of her videos and she could sew them on either side of her presser foot. I cannot do that. I am one side only. I was like, of course, she's got way more experience than I've got. She's probably been sewing as long as I've been alive, but I really enjoy watching her. Okay, so then we're just going to press that one open, and like I said, just press down. And like I said, you could starch it if you wanted to just make sure everything was going to hold its shape. This would be a good time to starch it before you pressed it. All right, let me get the other 2 finished up. Okay, so now we need to trim these to 3.5 by 6.5. We need to make sure we leave at least 1/4 of an inch on our peak here for our seam allowance. So I'm going to, mine were pretty close. I went ahead and did the other ones. I just needed to do, like this one's pretty good. I just need to cut the little dog ears off of this one. So I'll do that. Alright, so then you should have 4 of these flying geese, star legs, whatever you want to call them. So now we need to get our center block that you fussy cut or your other medium, and we're going to add these and make a square in a square, which is super easy to do. So we just need to center these on that block there. So I'm going to fold these in half and just make a little crease, and do the same thing with this block. And then all I gotta do is match the creases up. Sorry, birds are in the background screaming. And then it should be able to center. And we'll sew those on. We're gonna sew 2 sides first, 2 opposite sides, and then the other 2 opposite sides because they overlap. So you have to do them that way in order to. So I'll just match my little seams up, my little creases. And sew down the side. Okay, and then I'll bring the other one over here. This fabric is so cute. It was from some Fat Quarters. It's the same design, just in different colors. I'll show you as soon as I get this on there. And it's the cutest fabric ever. Oh my God, the birds are going to go crazy. I think I got it from Quilt Addicts Anonymous. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so. See, just different color. There was a red color also in this. Oh my gosh, I hope she does not continue doing that. Okay, so we're going to, I just finger press these, and then we're going to put these other sides on. And let me make a crease on this one. I should have did a crease all the way around before I sewed these on there, shouldn't I have? Boy, you're such a smart one there, Dawn. Sometimes I make myself wonder, I gotta tell you. Okay. Alright, so there's that one. We are going to trim this down, so don't worry about all of this overhang stuff. Okay, and then we're going to put this one on. I love square and square blocks. They're pretty versatile, but man, they just kind of jazz it up. Instead of your squares being horizontally and vertical, they're on point, and it's just really cool. They make for a good center of any block, really. Okay, let's get this all pressed open. Okay, so we need to square this to 6.5 inches. So 3 1/4 would be where your little points meet, and you need to make sure you leave 1/4 of an inch at each point so that you have room to sew it and not lose your square. So 3 1/4, there's my 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3 1/4. Okay, and I'm pretty close on this one. I just need to trim a little off of the sides and the bottom. So we'll do 2 sides here. This will get rid of the little dog ears. That's why I think with hers, even though she says 1/4 of an inch seam allowance in her patterns, it's actually like a scant, because I sew with like a scant 1/4 of an inch, and I can usually get these to come out pretty close to right with that scant. It's really weird. I don't know. Everybody, I was doing a pattern the other day and found that, and I thought, my gosh, they, and they stressed the importance of the 1/4 inch being right on, and so I was very particular, very careful, made a little guide for my machine to make sure it was all, and my blocks came out too small. I was rather disappointed. Anyway, center block. Our star legs are gonna go on the top sides. Make sure your white point from your background is pointing in. And then the 4 background triangles that we had are going to go in the corners like so. This is a really unique block. I like this. This would make a nice quilt too, all just on its own. So, okay. So then we're going to sew that together. So I'm going to bring you over here. And I'm just going to do it in rows and leave it all hooked together. And then that way the rows and everything's hooked together. Nothing is out of order. And so. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with my bird today. I guess the weather's fixing to change. She's been going crazy in there for all day. Okay, and the last one. This is a fairly easy block. I think if you did the half square triangles, an easier way. And even though you had to sew triangles to get the look for our, our 2 prints here and stuff, it wasn't bad. So I'm going to press that to the outside. Okay, and we'll open that one, put this there. And everything should just match right up if you squared everything the way you should have. Hopefully I didn't lose no points. I think I might have on one. Oof. Well, I'm not going to die over it. It is what it is. I like getting nice points, but I'm not, unless it's really way off, I don't get too upset about it. Because ultimately, when you have it in a quilt, the whole scheme of the quilt, nobody's ever really going to notice it. Unless you were, like taking it to a show or something, now they would. Nope, I still got my point there. I'm pressing these center ones to the outside. There's going to be a lot of bulk no matter which way you go because of the seams in those points. And I've still got points, yay! This one to the outside, and then we'll flip that over. Okay, here we go. And then just nest all your little seams here. You were supposed to be going to the... Oh, I did them backwards. I did the center to the outside, and I should have done these ones to the inside. Okay, well, I'm doing them now. Good thing I didn't put it on my iron already. Whoopsie. I was not paying attention, so I'm going to go... I just kind of weaved around that point. I didn't want to lose my point there, and I was just kind of weaving around my stitches there. So. If you... right where these cross right here, let me see here. So hopefully you can see this on the camera. Right where these stitches from here and here cross, if you stay on this side of it, then you'll have a point. If you get below that, it will cut your point off. So when you're sewing, you can kind of watch where you're sewing, and if you just need to veer just a little bit, you can veer, and it won't really affect your block at all because it's just in that one little area. I do that quite frequently. Okay, that's on the inside. Make sure that's lined up. So I'm coming to it, and I just need to be just like 2 stitch lengths over your that where that cross is, that intersection. There we go. Couldn't think of the word. I mean, not much at all, and then you'll still have your point, and you'll be a happy camper with your block. Yep, got a point there still. Got a point there still, so you can see I still got points on both of them. I'll iron that, and it'll look better. Alright, so I like this block. I think this would be really cool quilt too. I say that about all the blocks I make. I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be a great quilt. Do I ever make a quilt out of them? Nope. Because I already got so many projects going. It's just ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and I don't really want to redo the video. Okay, our block is done. Here we go. So this is called the Missouri Star, what she's calling the Missouri Star. I don't know, is the Missouri Star, is that what it looks like? I thought it looked a lot more like an Ohio Star, but I didn't know it had the different colors there. So, but anyway, all right, so that's it. Okay, so we got one more block left in the series. I'm almost finished with my other blocks. You know, I was having to redo them for the fabric choices. Some of them I'm redoing, some of them I'm not. I'm just going to make my sampler quilt scrappy, and we'll just roll with it. So anyway, there you go. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you. If I don't do it early, I'm going to try to do it earlier than, in December, but if not, I'll see y'all next month. Have a great day.